Will MrBeast lead to the collapse of YouTube?
Downfall of MrBeast drama, but it's also an attempt at self awareness during a viewership bubble that I myself am participating in actively, which could very well affect me. Beyond that, it's probably going to affect everyone on the platform, but we'll get to that in just a minute. Straight up, not wasting time, there's way too much stuff out there now for some sort of total recap situation, and I'd be willing to bet that most people watching this already have some sort of cursory knowledge of what's been happening, which I'm going to have to rely on pretty heavily here.
A lot of things are happening. Honestly, it's really hard to even track them. MrBeast's ex-girlfriend came out and said that Jimmy treated her pretty much like an object almost. Oh man, so many things. Him stealing ideas from people and then not paying or mentioning him and whatnot. It is crazy. I don't know if these two things, for example, are corroborated, but I mean, there's so much stuff currently going on.
But this is the lightning fast overview. Mr. Beast had a team member who was being inappropriate with minors, Ava Chris Tyson, which became widespread commentary drama in the community. At the same time, an ex-employee alleged that he was rigging game shows.
And again, most people were afraid to say anything bad about the situation. Oh no, this is an isolated incident. Blah 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 blah. Pathetic.
And running illegal lotteries, which blew up as well. And in the background, this new $100 million Amazon game show that Mr. Beast is running, called the Beast Games, was allegedly filled with safety violations, injuries, and mismanagement. It's a trifecta of situations boiling over all at once around him, but then another ex-employee came out discussing what I would refer to as abusive conditions during the process of filming a video about him, and it came to light that Mr. Beast, allegedly, according.
Yeah, this was pretty horrible. And by the way, for all the people who are saying he's weak and whatnot, yeah, you should kind of try and compose yourself better and whatnot. That is true, but that is no excuse that he got pretty much treated as a war criminal at times here. It is insane, okay?
According to a former team member named Jake the Viking in his testimony, knowingly hired a registered sex offender to work at the company, proceeding to hide his identity during at least one challenge video with a mask and an alias. Basically, it's all crashing down around him while he frantically deletes anything he can find that pertains to these illegal lotteries across Facebook.
And you know what's the funniest part about all of this? If anything here is honestly funny. It's the fact that who cares? MrBeast is just gonna take the punches, say nothing, or maybe he says something. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, his main audience is 9-year-old children who literally could not care less about any of this. They're gonna watch his videos, YouTube's gonna promote his videos, and there you're gonna go. Maybe you're gonna make a dent of, I don't know, like 1 million people. Oh no! Oh no! From 200 million views per video to 199 million views. Oh, how the tragedy. He's probably wiping away his tears with $1,000 bill right now, and then burning it, and then taking a new one and burning that one just for the sake of it. The tragedy.
Facebook as well as multiple YouTube channels. But the stuff that's new is interesting enough to be worth covering, while at the same time acknowledging that this entire situation may be outright damaging to the platform as a whole. I'll just jump in. The place to start for me, which has been covered before, but this is just my take on it, is the lead.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you one thing about the thing. I honestly don't think that this is gonna be damaging for the YouTube platform. Now, there is a chance, and obviously that chance is real, that something may happen because people might get pissed on YouTube. But the reality is it's not gonna happen, okay? The last time the adpocalypse happened on YouTube, it didn't happen because people actually cared about what's happening. It was Legacy's media's attempt to actually squash YouTube so they can, actually have some power yet again. And it failed. They're probably not going to try to do this again because the outcome is no one cares at the end of the day about Legacy Media. So it's kind of pointless to try this. Okay? And no one cares about morals or whatever. Look at Hollywood. Remember the Me Too stuff, the Harvey Weinstein or whatever his name is, things? Advertisers were still supporting Hollywood until the last. No one cared. No one ever cares.
Leaked, air quotes there, internal email from MrBeast directly, which outlines a number of steps they're taking after the firm Quinn Emanuel expanded the scope of their internal investigation.
Also, I know what this is. This was most likely 100% intentionally leaked. Because, of course, it was.
To include company culture and inappropriate behavior. Just to rip the band-aid off, there is not a single shred of me that believes this email was leaked accidentally.
Yep.
It absolutely
Obviously.
reeks of a PR move, and it's the type of
Yep.
thing I can imagine them doing to try and subdue the overwhelming tidal wave of criticism that they're.
And by the way, you know what's the biggest telltale sign that this was leaked? Because currently the hot thing is not honestly what MrBeast's team is currently saying, but it's the leaks. And well, if they just announce, hey, we're doing sensitivity courses, blah blah blah, everyone's like, ah, who cares? But if this is a leak, well, then people are at least gonna see it. And again, imagine you're doing this thing to combat the bad things that have happened, and you're not gonna talk about this? What? Of course you're gonna talk about making this and doing this because you want a better work environment or something. But no, it gets leaked. Yeah, this is as fake of a leak as possible.
They're getting and will continue to get until the final allegations of covering up sexual assault come out. By the way, just to put this out there as well, it is my wholehearted belief that those allegations will eventually hit the YouTube ecosystem sooner rather than later. It's just a matter of when. I don't want to read this and quote all of it because it's garbage, but after enlisting the help of a law firm to do an internal investigation and then expanding the scope of that investigation to the more current allegations.
By the way, also, this is fake because this has not been done. No law firm is gonna conduct an investigation in less than a week. So, this is not even actually really done. No investigation has been conducted in a goddamn week, okay? It's just not happening.
Of misconduct and damaging company culture. After doing that, MrBeast says, quote, I have enough preliminary information at this point that I am announcing several changes today, end quote. Yeah, that seems to me like they know it's bad. The law firm knows it's bad. The PR expert that they hired knows it's bad. And this is even more obvious when you look at a message that just recently got sent to Dogpack404, who is the first ex-employee to speak out about all of the illegal lotteries and company culture problems, which, oh my gosh, it makes it even worse. After reaching out to an employee named Chucky, who attempted to debunk the allegations early on and sort of just threw gasoline on everything, 2 weeks after Dogpack...
That was also, in my opinion, a complete fake PR tweet, because he did not grapple with any of the substance that was actually shown in the video, and he's just like, oh, he made the joke. That joke is false because it didn't happen. It's a joke, asshole.
404 reached out. Chucky responded, quote, hey, the company takes these claims extremely seriously. This is Stephanie. She works at Quinn Emanuel, the company we hired to do an independent investigation, and she asked if you could send over anything to help with the investigation, end quote. Yeah, this is... I don't know. I don't have much to add right now in terms of technical analysis or investigation. The stuff I do know is not for publication right now, but...
I honestly don't understand what this is supposed to be, not gonna lie.
This just absolutely reeks, in my opinion. This does not feel genuine. And just to demonstrate why I'm saying that, Stephanie, in this context, probably refers to Stephanie Kellerman, who can be found right on the Quinn Emanuel attorney page of
yeah, nice, not bad, not bad.
Their website. And her bio section reads, quote, outside the courtroom, her representation of numerous public figures has included strategies to manage press fallout in the context of ongoing litigation, end quote. These are litigation attorneys. And right now, as far as I'm aware, or most other people are aware that I've talked to.
By the way, I can't wait until MrBeast says that he hired a third party to investigate himself. That is going to be this company that specializes in PR fallout. It's going to be great. It's going to be OTK with Asmongold all over again.
There's no litigation. So I would guess that she's participating here in some sort of outside the courtroom capacity. Therefore, fill in the blanks. This doesn't feel like a situation where the company, Quinn Emanuel, the law firm, has been hired to do some sort of real internal investigation. In my opinion, this feels like a massive PR spend and a decisive effort to buckle down before things get way worse, because in my opinion, they understand full well that things will get.
Yeah. There's two times when you get someone to fix your PR. One, when the downfall has happened. Two, when the downfall has happened, but there's more to happen and you need to soften also that blow. So, yeah.
Get worse. The shit they did, the ways that they ran that company are coming through the cracks now. And this feels like someone finally had an open and honest conversation with their legal team about what could theoretically come out if people break all their NDAs. And the lawyer said, "Dear God, what have you done? We need to try."
Okay, you know what's funny here is you can tell your lawyers all of this. The lawyers are not going to go to the police themselves. But you're. I don't remember if this is true or not, but I think that is the part where a lawyer can't keep illegal information from the police if they ask, even because the confidential information doesn't work if you tell your lawyer, well, actually, I also murdered 5 other people that they don't know about. Hope that doesn't come to light. I don't think the confidentiality clauses of having a lawyer apply in those points. So whatever they told was not even the worst part of this, probably. But yeah, you tell your lawyers typically everything because that's how lawyers work.
And figure out which of the bombs is about to explode next. Anyway, it's a disaster for the MrBeast media empire, but it's also a feeding frenzy on YouTube as a platform. Some of you might even look at me as one of the parties responsible for that. I've done, 6 videos now, including this one. That's more than I cover most controversies.
Wow.
I mean, some of them I do like 14 videos. That does happen. But this is big. And for an example of why I'm saying that, look at this guy. To be clear, I have no idea what happened with this particular situation beyond the explanation.
Is this the video I saw?
He gives publicly, but just look at the overall picture. This guy comes out and says that Mr.
Oh, no, yeah, this is the same dude.
Beast flew him out there to work for a few days, stole his ideas, and then made a video with those stolen ideas. He has some snappy editing, he seems genuinely upset about all this, but at the end of the video,
he has good editing because he's an editor for, I think, one big YouTuber or multiple YouTubers.
He talks about making a part 2, which he's definitely gonna do, and then he links a GoFundMe that was originally set for, I believe, $1.7 million. He raised something like $400 to $500 right away and then shut down donations, but this is really on the nose when it comes to capitalizing on a situation for personal benefit.
Yeah, it's not the best look, but honestly, you know what? I'm not even gonna blame the guy. Capitalize all you can.
He even said somewhere in that video, who benefits from this, me or MrBeast? Hint, it ain't me. But then half a second later, he links a GoFundMe campaign. Is it ironic? Is it a troll? Either way, it has 2.3 million views and climbing. And I honestly don't know what the point was, but it's basically impossible for me to think of a more obvious example here when it comes to the idea of a content gold rush. Maybe the closest I can think of would be a creator named Suzy Liu, who got widely criticized by the commentary community for a while back when she was...
Oh, I remember that one. She watched Naruto.
Streaming whole anime episodes with very little reaction. And then she would freak out at anyone who commented about it. She was objectively wrong there, so it made sense, but it was a similar situation where even just commenting about it would rack up tons of views really quickly, which contributed to this self-perpetuating atmosphere where every time someone said something, she would do something else, so people would say more, so she would do more over and over and over again. That's what I see with MrBeast, as I actively participate in it myself. It's just the scale is off the charts compared to back then, and the cycle isn't even stagnating yet. Also, I want to go on a tangent here and address a video made by Legal Eagle because, in my opinion, he totally mischaracterized my content in a way that feels either deliberate or incompetent. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too harsh there, but it feels really off. Legal Eagle did this video, MrBeast Illegal Lotteries Rigging and NDAs, where he does a completely out-of-date overview on the situation, well and truly after much more information has come out, but high production value takes time, and he has a whole apparatus around him, so probably not his fault. What annoyed me is that he seems to have decided he wanted to call me wrong, or maybe he just wanted to call someone wrong in his video to make himself seem like a greater authority and I fit the bill this time. But instead of doing it for valid reasons, he just made one up. He says at one point that I'm wrong in claiming that MrBeast ran afoul of 47 USC 509 because it doesn't apply to YouTube, and then says it may seem that way, but it's wildly out of context. And this is why people need lawyers. Then going on to talk about how someone in my comment section, a random person, is also wrong because they're from Canada and Canadian law is irrelevant. But dude, you missed the whole main point. His entire basis is that I'm wrong because 47 USC 509 doesn't apply to YouTube. But let me just read something from the video he's talking about. Quote, "Now, I know some people are going to make this distinction, and they should, but a YouTuber is not broadcast television." Later on, I can't personally say at
That is true, but I wonder if that's going to change at some point.
what specific point a creator who owns a media company that is 10 or 20 times larger and more successful than mainstream broadcast television networks becomes liable under those same rules, or if they ever even apply at all for that matter. But MrBeast appears to be completely disregarding the concept of game show integrity purely for the sake of making those game shows entertaining, not
Okay, so this statement contradicts the first statement. Okay.
good, end quote. Later on in that very same video, again, quote, it all boils down to a question. At what point does a YouTuber become so big they jump categories without voluntarily jumping categories? A random person in their basement making YouTube videos is not broadcast television. But when a multi-billion-dollar media
Yeah. Again, it's probably going to be up to the courts to decide, honestly, at the end of the day. But hey, throwing my 5 cents in here at this point in this interpretation, I'm literally as good as Legal Eagle, and so are you. We can say anything, and the courts are going to be the ones that end up deciding. Nice, feeling smarter already.
company, because those are the numbers we're talking about here, is giving away millions of dollars in prizes or hosting dozens of live streamed lotteries that seem to very blatantly violate the law, at what point does the media company become liable for the activity they're perpetrating? End quote. Yeah, Legal Eagle very obviously just didn't watch or listen long enough to understand that I simply wasn't saying the thing he wanted to call me wrong for, and then clipped the one part that sorta made it sound like I was maybe making a definitive statement on that issue out of context, go figure, and threw it in. Why? I have no idea, but I do have suspicions. Early on, he has this part where he acknowledges, yeah, MrBeast probably ran afoul of sweepstakes law in certain jurisdictions, but he follows it up immediately by saying this was frankly pretty common on YouTube back in the day. But no, it wasn't, at least nowhere near that kind of scale. He's categorically wrong about that. And it's actually
Hey, being common at some point doesn't mean it's good.
kind of crazy, in my opinion, that a lawyer is resorting to the, yeah, maybe it was illegal, but a lot of other people did it too defense as a main sticking point.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, to be honest. That's true.
MrBeast at the time had tens of millions of subscribers. He wasn't the single largest YouTuber back then, but he was growing the fastest of pretty much anyone out there except maybe PewDiePie and T-Series. His live streams were selling tens, probably more like hundreds of thousands of units total across all of them,
Really?
earning many millions
Wow.
of dollars as he executed routine lottery giveaways to
Well, I actually believe that. And remember, I have said, typically, merch is bad because they put their stupid name on it, their stupid face on the merch, and that's why it doesn't sell. But I'm kind of specifically talking about audiences where the average age is like 20 plus. Then merch merch with your name doesn't work. But if you're selling to children, bro, they literally care about the MrBeast logo because then you're cool in school because you have the MrBeast thing. It's like Prime when it was actually at the peak of its prime. Kids all over the world bought Prime, the KSI Logan Paul drink, and they didn't even drink it. They just put it in their backpacks, literally like in goddamn South Park, just to show that they have it. And the rarer the flavor, the cooler you are. That was not a meme. That was actually how stuff was going down. I know because my cousin's kid is. I have no idea how old he is. Okay, but oh yeah, actually I do. Roughly 12, and that was a year or 2 years ago when that peak was there. It's insane. It's insane. Our world is just a giant South Park episode at this point, and South Park is just contextualizing the world at this point.
spike those numbers. Sure, there probably are a ton of instances where a creator gives away a single
Also, you know what's my favorite part about that South Park episode? It's the fact that a kid is watching. Who was it who was watching the Logan Paul video? I don't remember, but Clyde. Clyde's watching the Logan Paul video and he doesn't like it, but Logan Paul says, like the video now, and he's like, and likes it. Jesus Christ. Like the video. Let's see if that actually works.
PS4 or an Xbox and fails to structure it properly, thereby technically running afoul of sweepstakes law. But MrBeast is on camera in one of those live streams commenting about how the entire city is sold out of PlayStations now, because they're buying up and giving them all away in that stream. And then goes even further by insinuating, well, how are we supposed to sell merch now then, since they're sold out? The process of illegal lottery giveaways appears to have been mechanized by him in order to sell millions of dollars of merchandise, which is
Hmm.
not a common thing on YouTube and cannot be defended by hand waving it
True.
away as if other people do it too, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah, this kind of operation, that kind of way of making your lottery, you're not going to find that on YouTube typically.
Honestly, I don't watch Legal Eagle. He has super high production value and seems well reasoned. But that video was absolutely terrible. Anyway, I wasn't even going to respond to that. I was just going to leave it, but I had
I'm not going to lie. Legal Eagle's probably going to face the same problem all the people who are who were keyword were experts at their field are going to face at some point on YouTube, because well, you become big on YouTube because you have some kind of specialized field, for example law in this case and whatnot, suing people. And well, you yourself stop doing the law stuff, so you get rusty. And if you're a professional at some field, you very well know that you can't get rusty. You can't just stop. You can't just stop doing it for like a year or two or three, then come back and still be at the high of your game. No, new things happen. You're off center. You're rusty. You're dull. All of these things happen. And Legal Eagle, as well, every single lawyer in the universe, is most likely a very arrogant man. I don't know what's with lawyers. Doctors are also sometimes pretty arrogant, but lawyers are typically the fucking peak of arrogance, because their job is not to know right. Their job is to make right. Their job is to make themselves right. And obviously, if that's how you live your life, probably that's going to affect your personality at the end of the day. So, he creates a law firm. He no longer practices law at that level. And he gets rusty, he gets arrogant, he's successful, blah, blah, blah. And that's how videos, well, where he completely misjudges something slowly start to happen. And that's where the downfall happens. It's beautiful.
way more people than I would have expected directly in my DMs gloating about how Legal Eagle just destroyed you, when the reality is he just fundamentally misunderstood what I was saying. Internet content isn't governed by broadcast television laws, a fact that I said multiple times. The mediums are different, 100%. However, at what point does the new common medium with larger shows and bigger prizes and frequent infractions get regulated under some sort of similar framework? Maybe the same expanded framework, maybe a rewritten framework.
Also, there's probably some people who are going to say, oh, that can't happen. You can't just randomly be judged as a different thing from what you are. Of course you can. On every single country in the world, by the way, has this inbuilt. The most common, by the way, example of this being applied is when you're under 18, you cannot go to court and be judged as an adult. There are some things that are not going to be applied to you. There's some, you're going to get leaner punishments and all of that stuff. But for specific crimes, if you commit, if they are extremely heinous or breach a certain threshold, even if you're 15, you can be judged as an adult. Oh, yeah. That's probably the most common examples of, you not being an X category, but the law is applied as you're an X category.
Framework, I don't know. Never? Okay, cool. That's an answer, a shitty one. But I'm not wrong for asking the question of when does or when should that happen. His comment section is wild with the gloating about how I've fallen off and definitely do cast aspersions on him and I'm a terrible creator, which may be true. Can't speak to that. Too biased, obviously. But this ain't it. At least criticize me for something valid. Regardless, the final thing I want to talk about here is advertisers. This whole MrBeast drama has a lot of channels benefiting short term, including mine, from heightened viewership.
True, MrBeast videos get a lot. Honestly, I'm not interested in that. We're gonna see what's the end play here, what's gonna happen. It's kind of useless, honestly, to predict, because it's most likely gonna be decided by third parties that get involved, if they do get involved. But anyway, that was Upper Echelon. Bye bye.